I'm Lacey Kelley. I am the owner of Authentic Resilience Counseling in Vancouver, Washington. For hobbies, I've recently gotten really into painting and like art. I got a laser cutter, so I'm learning how to design earrings right now. And then I live at home with my husband, and we have 5 cats on accident. One of them is disabled. And so that's been kind of our year, is like just learning how to take care of a special needs kitty. I am specialized in working with kids and youth and some adults who are struggling with ADHD, trauma, and just like working on basic self-regulation and coping skills. For a long time, I thought counseling and psychology were cop-out degrees, and I actually fought it for a while in college, and I realized the reason I did well in psychology classes is because it was something that was just part of who I was. And I always knew that I wanted to help kids. I always knew that I wanted to do something big with my life. My mom died when I was 14, and she struggled with substance use disorder and just had a lot going on. And I remember being at her funeral at 14, and it was just her kids and her 2 ex-husbands, and realizing that could be what someone's life story comes down to. And I really wanted to do something not only for my legacy, but for hers, to show that even when you struggle, even when life is not going the way you thought it would, you still matter. And I want to teach people that they matter. I really think a lot of mental health suffering comes down to not accepting yourself, or being afraid of who you are, being afraid of taking up space. If you can practice loving yourself, whether that's write down one thing a day about yourself that you love, not only does that help boost your mental health, kind of fake it till you make it, a DBT skill kind of a thing, but also when you believe that there's something good in yourself that you are fighting to show others or fighting to lead with, that gives you a stronger foundation and motivation to fight for who you want to be. Some self-care things that I like to do, I like to make sure I drink enough water, which sounds really silly, but you have to check in with yourself all the time, and just being really present in that moment of am I dehydrated, can be really helpful. But also taking time to rest and prioritizing physical sleep and movement, those sorts of things can be really helpful in just giving you again, a foundation to build off of. So a lot of my experience comes from working in education. I was a school counselor for about 4 or 5 years. And I think a big misconception is that they can just muscle up the stamina or just kind of power through, and the full brain stop that people with ADHD deal with around productivity and the desire to do it. I went to a conference a while ago, and I remember one of the speakers saying if they knew how to do better, they would be doing better, because it's not a lack of knowledge. ADHD people are very smart. It's a performance issue. And so they're completely capable, but their brain has an extra 30, it has to take so much longer to gear up to do the thing. And so giving grace for those moments is so important. And also just looking at okay, how can we lower the barrier to doing the thing? So just be kind about it, and also check in with yourself if you're an educator or a parent of why is this bothering me? They're not cleaning their room. Why is that bothering me? Is that a me issue? Is that a them issue? Is this a skill I'm trying to teach kids or adults, something that they need to have for their life? Okay, but how do we adjust it in a way that's actually attainable? You wouldn't tell a person in a wheelchair to just get up and walk. That's not feasible. And you can't do that with ADHD either. You have to scaffold it. And so how can you back it up and accomplish the same goal, but maybe in a different route? One that I used a lot and was kind of, I think, more of a foundation for my career as a therapist than I even realized it at the time. My mom passed away when I was 14, and I did a lot of writing. I wrote basically every school project that came up. I would somehow write about the situation and how she passed away. And I would also practice, I didn't call it practicing, but my sister and I would talk through it a lot. We were both adopted, and it was our biological mom who had passed away. And just getting a handle on how that is your story and how you tell it to other people can be a huge tool in figuring out what that loss means to you and where it fits in. And then also just being open to the fact that there's research that every time you hit a new developmental marker after you've lost someone, so kids who lose a parent at a really young age, you reprocess that grief every time you hit a new developmental marker because your brain has a new way to conceptualize loss, or it has a different meaning. You get the big milestones too, like proms, weddings, that sort of thing. And just being aware that you are gonna feel some sort of way about it, and that's okay. You can cry if you need to, you can write about it, you can say a little prayer if that's your thing. I do a weird thing when there's a new moment that I wanna remember, and my mom's on my mind, and I'll just take a short recording of all the sounds, just because those are the sounds I wish you could hear too. And so making space for them to take on a new role in your story, even if they're not physically there, can be really healing in the long term. You don't try on one pair of jeans and okay, they didn't fit, so I'm never wearing pants again, right? You keep trying until you find what you like and what feels good. And also, if you're not ready and you do try on that pair of jeans and you're oh, this is overwhelming, you stick to sweats then. But eventually, there's gonna be a reason to push you, or once it clicks that you want to open more things, you want to be more honest with yourself, then retry it. It's gonna be a different experience because you're a different person too.